Welcome to the Legacy Syndicate podcast, episode number 12. I'm Jesse Moon, and I'm here with my business partner,
Mark Cassara, and we're hailing from
Dallas, Texas. Today, we're going to talk about some good things, guys. Maybe you've been watching the news lately. You've seen a little bit of Donald Trump getting indicted. You've seen AI taking over. You've seen the drop in Social Security where they're saying it's about to be depleted. It's insolvent.
Yeah.
In the next 11 years.
Maybe you're wondering
a little bit about that.
What is going on with your money?
Right.
Where can you put your money to keep it safe? How can you keep from losing it due to inflation?
Oh, man.
We're going to cover a couple of those things today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So if you're just now tuning into the Legacy Syndicate podcast, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. I forgot what I was saying.
Like button, subscribe
That's
button.
the subscribe button. Click that notification tab so you can be notified every time we drop some new content. And if you're following us on any other platform, make sure you're following us, especially if you love to stay updated on the latest news and topics and how to get your money to work for you guys. Yeah. We're definitely somebody you want to follow. But man, it's been very eventful this week.
Eventful, man. Lots of things are happening. Give us a rundown on what the latest and greatest is happening in the news right now.
Well, Super Mario Brothers came out today.
I heard. Actually, you guys went and saw Matinee.
We did. So think about this. The last Mario Brothers that came out was like in the 80s, man. It was,
man.
If you remember, it was the live action one.
We grew up on Mario Brothers, man. We grew up on that.
So I know we got a lot of kids together. You got 6, I got 7, and they love Mario.
Yeah.
So they've been waiting for this, and my daughter's birthday is tomorrow. So we took the kids to go see Mario Brothers. I just want to let you know, it is not to disappoint. So
really,
and I know the movie theaters isn't going to give me any. I'm not going to receive a check in the mail for my recommendation.
Right.
But go and check out the Mario Brothers, especially if you have kids or you grew up in the 80s and 90s, same way we did.
Family friendly.
Family friendly.
Was it?
I don't know. You might be scared of Bowser.
Well, I was always scared of Bowser, but
that's it.
Was it woke?
No, it was woked up.
It was woke up.
Mean not woke, but wake up.
They were awakened.
So there was none of that funny stuff.
No wokeism in there.
No funny stuff.
There's a lot of movies and a lot of stuff that's coming out lately, man.
Yeah.
Woke theories, man. Woke ideas. And
there was none of that
that's another podcast, guys. We'll cover that maybe in episode 13. We'll talk a little bit about that. But it was a good movie overall.
It was good. There was none of that stuff where the only one that was woke was in a preview, and it was the new Little Mermaid. That's woke.
Gotcha.
That's woke.
Gotcha.
But obviously Disney, how Disney's leaning right now.
So talking about investments and money, taking 7 kids to the movie theater these days.
The only reason we do it is because one of our sons work in the movie theater and we get 50% discount on everything. That's the only reason.
I was about to say, last time I did that, man, it was a couple $100.
Couple $100, especially if you like
get
kids.
The popcorn.
We're gonna stop by the grocery store before we go. We're gonna go get the dollar candy.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're not jingling when you walk into the movie theater. Yeah. So I remember those days taking Wendy's dollar menu in your pocket.
Oh yeah.
In
got
the theater.
Eating Big Macs, taking them out of your plastic bag, and
That's it. Let us know in the comments, what is the craziest thing you've taken into the theater? Is it tacos? Is it nachos? What is the craziest thing that you've taken into the theater or should I say snuck into the theater? Yeah. We promise not to report you. Okay. Yeah. So we ended the last episode talking about artificial intelligence, how it's taking over, how you see Elon Musk is saying, hey, you need to halt these stop and desist.
6-month pause on all development and training.
Because it's taking a life of its own right now. Yeah. And if you're in business, we know there's tons of tools out there that you can use to grow your business.
Yeah, lots of tools. Actually, we've been developing the ChatGPT and AI master course that we're about to launch probably next week.
That's it.
But the reason we did this is we're in the financial services industry. We have a full-time day job career that we love, and we do that during the day. But at night, that's when we do a lot of our research, a lot of our market research, our development of tools that we like to use to help our business. And I think you would agree that we have a passion for helping others achieve the same type of a success that we've had over the years.
Well, Zig Ziglar said it best, that if you help people succeed in life, then you're going to have success in return. The more people you help become successful, the more success you're going to have. So we want to be on the latest trends when it comes to resourcefulness and technology to help other people grow and scale their business.
And during the day, we're helping people, we're helping them protect their money, helping them, make sure that their finances are in order. But at night, man, we turn into technology geeks, you know. We're up
Look,
till 2, 3
just
o'clock
a
in the
little bit,
morning,
just a little
2, 3
bit,
o'clock in the
guys.
morning, trying to figure out the latest, greatest software to use. There's a couple reviews that I did within the course that show you how to take one piece of content and spread it out to 50 different platforms.
Mm,
Some crazy stuff on there, but well,
repurposed.
at the end of the day, it's really going to help business owners take their social media game to the next level. And I think, you know, we've had success. Our agents have had success, and so we
Absolutely.
want to help other people have success. Why keep all that knowledge to yourself when you can help other people level up, you know, in the same way, you know?
You can't keep it to yourself
Yeah.
because then you're selfish,
Yeah.
and it's like, what good is it to have all the knowledge but not share it? It's like I feel now that I'm in the financial industry that now that I know this knowledge, it's my duty and obligation to go share it with as many people as possible because that's how we
course.
grow as humans, humanity, and how we get better and progress. So let's talk about. We're not going to talk too much about it, but let's just talk about a little bit of Donald Trump real quick.
We're going to get into the weeds.
We're just going to dive into
Okay.
it. We're just going to dive into it.
Yeah. So Trump got indicted.
He got indicted. If you pull up the indictment, we're not going to pull it up here, but you can go and look for yourself. It's all public information, guys. The headline was 34 charges.
Yeah, 34
facing 100
felony
years
charges.
in prison.
Right. And the guy's 70, what is he, 72, 73 years old?
Yes, he's up there in
That's
age.
a life sentence, right?
But he
there.
can finish a sentence.
Yeah, true.
He can finish a sentence.
All right. I didn't know you were going to take that direction, but okay.
He can
All
finish
right.
a sentence.
Okay.
But the thing is like I was explaining to you before we got started, was like one charge is Trump received some money. Well, it wasn't Trump, it was his estate.
Yeah.
Received money. They put it down in the company's ledger.
In the ledger.
And they classified that as 4 separate charges. Every action was 4 separate charges for one thing. So we know the headline is fish bait to get people to view it.
Sure.
But at the same time, then a 500-page report came out, operations report came out for DeSantis.
Right. It was uncovering a whole bunch of stuff that he was into, right?
The Democrats is like labeled DeSantis did this, DeSantis did that.
That's almost
DeSantis
like a
did
1-2 punch.
Correct.
They're trying to take down the other side so that they make. That's a typical bully mentality, right?
Correct.
Try to make somebody else look like trash or feel like trash so that you feel better about yourself. And that's all that's happening right now, just on a political level.
Well, we saw this every day of Trump's presidency.
Yeah.
They were trying to, impeach him, like raiding Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah. Mar-a-Lago, yeah.
Mar-a-Lago.
Now, I think that actually happens to every president. Maybe more to some than others. But, man, and when I think about it, I would hate to be the president, man, because people just trying to tear you down all day, every day.
But see, here's the thing. Because they're saying it was classified documents, but as a sitting president, you can instantaneously declassify a document, like downgraded documents classification.
Yeah.
And as soon as he moved them in plain sight, he wasn't trying to hide it, moved them to his house, and it was under lock and key. Right. And when they came in there, they said, the Fed said, can you put an extra lock on there?
Yeah.
They complied just like that. Yeah. But what happened when Biden took
what about the
classified
boxes?
But he was only vice president, so therefore he didn't have the classification or the authorization to declassify or lower the classification.
Yeah.
So that right there in itself. So we see it happen to Republicans. We don't see it happen to Democrats.
And what they're doing
is
just
weird.
They're picking and choosing what they want to go after.
So,
but man, if they're going to go after Trump for all that he did, they need to go after Hillary. They need to go after Hunter. They need to go after Biden and everybody else that was kind of involved in all that.
The justice system is, and what they're talking about is, this is showing that they're weaponizing the justice system.
Yeah.
To fit whatever.
It's setting precedent.
Correct.
Setting precedent for the future, that they can do that to anybody that they want to.
Correct.
They want to take you out of power. Boom. They just charge you with a felony. They lock you up. They, put charges against you.
What happened before this? What happened with Andrew Tate?
Yeah,
right. What happened with
he just got released
with Yee. Is it Yee or Ye or Way?
Something
What's his
like
name?
that. Kanye West,
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Kanye West, where they just freezed everything.
Right.
Like the guy worked hard for his money. He didn't do anything illegal, and you just freeze the stuff because he said something. Yeah. And I fought for this country for years. I've seen my friends give the ultimate sacrifice, their life for this country, for the Constitution of the United States of America. and we got to be careful what we say, because we might offend somebody.
Right.
We might say something where the perception is the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like,
Now you were military 17 years,
16.
16 years in the
Correct.
military. So I mean, I'm sure you were on the inside, and maybe you heard a lot more chatter than regular civilians heard. But what was your take on like the government at that point? Did you have more or less trust then than you have now, knowing what you know? You were on the inside.
Well, I had more trust then because I was part of it. Now I'm
Gotcha.
just an outsider of it,
Yeah.
because the government will take care of its military,
Yeah.
because a country has to have a fighting force. But now I'm just a civilian out here. There's no trust in the government. It doesn't matter if there's a Republican sitting in the House or a Democrat sitting in the House. We know it doesn't matter who it is. They're all puppets, right? So it's like our coach says, don't worry about what happens in the White House. Worry about what happens in your house. Pay attention and focus and give energy to what you can control.
Yeah.
Don't give energy to outside forces.
Yeah.
That's not inside your control, because when it's not helping you get better, it's just a distraction.
Yeah.
So, but I will say, I will stay up to date with current events,
Sure.
knowledgeable on the things, because I truly do believe voting, but our voting system right now in America is like a third world country, man.
Of course. Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, that people can get away with this, that we haven't evolved over time. Like,
Yep.
in the wealthiest nation in the world.
Right. Yeah. So that's all we're going to say about Trump.
That's all we're
guys.
going to say. That's all we're going to say about
Just
that.
keep your eye out on what's happening.
Wake up.
Have multiple news sources. Don't just listen to one news station, because there's different point of views and different perspectives from every news
Sure.
station, even though as a conglomerate, they're probably owned by all the same people.
Yep.
But, listen to trusted sources, because you have to know what's going on in order to be able to prepare for the future.
Absolutely.
You do. So what else we got on the agenda?
So one thing I want to talk about is it's an article that I read from Fox Business News, and it's talking about Social Security.
Okay.
Now, being in the financial industry, we talk about this message a lot because people want to naturally retire someday.
Yeah.
They work from the time they're 18 years old to the time they're 62 or 65 years old, and they say, "Oh, I'm going to get my Social Security check."
Yeah.
So if you look at when you're working during your accumulation years, you look at your pay stub. There's Medicare, there's FICA, there's Social Security tax.
So many things are
There's all
coming
kinds
out.
of different taxes.
Yeah.
And that's why the average W-2 employee is going to pay 51% in taxes throughout their life. And because all the additional tax, not just federal or state, but all the additional. So Social Security is already being depleted. We knew that it was going to be depleted by the year 2034, but COVID sped that up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's about to become insolvent. You want to pull up that article that I sent you?
Now, when I was I remember looking at Social Security and thinking Social Security was going to make me rich. It was going to be my retirement. It was going to be how I was going to sit on the beach drinking Mai Tais for the rest of my life.
On Social Security.
On Social Security, because as you grow up, you see your grandparents and your aunts and uncles. Oh, I'm getting my Social Security check today, right? You hear about that. And as a kid, you have no concept of money or whatever that means. So you're like, wow, the government's going to pay me for my retirement?
Right.
Like, you think that's amazing. But now that we're older, man, it's like, it's just a big
It goes back to the saying, he or she that controls your money controls you in the decisions you make in your life.
And when Social Security came out, it was just a big socialist initiative.
Correct.
To allow you to depend on the government to take care of you when you were older. It's pretty crazy.
And the average Social Security check right now is $1,800.
$1,800, which isn't.
My grandparents used to get like $4,000.
Right.
But now it's $1,800.
Why it was a bigger deal when we were younger, because they were getting the good checks, right?
That's it.
But every year they're getting lower and lower.
So let's read through this. It says Social Security cuts could be coming soon. Here's who will be affected, guys. Okay. We're gonna go down to right here. The combined trust funds. Where are we at? Hold on. The combined trust funds. Oh, that's not.
It keeps skipping on you.
Yep. The combined trust funds will be insolvent by the year 2034.
Wow.
Today's 56-year-olds, when they reach full retirement age, which is technically 65, it's about to go up to 70.
Yeah.
The youngest retirees right now will be around 73 years old at this time. They're going to be receiving 20% less across the board.
Really?
They're going to have to take cuts.
Wow.
So over the next 75 years, the benefit cuts will become more severe. Social Security recipients will face a 26% across the board cut.
Huh.
So it's only 11 years from insolvency. This is a trust fund.
That means they're running out of.
They're running out of money.
Yeah.
They have billions of unfunded liabilities right
Yeah.
now. They don't have enough money to pay out.
Right.
So this goes back to saying, followed by the Gen Xers, which only 61 million babies were born.
Yeah.
You got a larger generation followed by a smaller generation.
Right.
So there's 343 million people here in the current population in America. There's less than 144 million taxpayers.
Huh.
Who pays into Social Security? It's the taxpayers, right?
Yeah.
So you got more people taken out of Social Security than putting into Social Security. Remember, Social Security is also disabled people as well.
Right.
So you got more people taken out of Social Security than putting into Social Security, and Social Security is attached to the stock market. So it's being depleted.
So it kind of reminds me of FDIC insurance, right? They have more liabilities than they do money in their fund.
They got $3 trillion worth of unfunded liabilities.
Think about that for a second.
That's
like
scary.
These are government programs, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how to manage their money properly. Like they're all upside down. Social Security doesn't have enough money to pay out all the.
Well, I don't see any broke people in Wall Street or
on the government. Yeah.
In the government,
Yeah.
like they got a $250,000 salary,
It's true.
but they're multi-millionaires.
They're started at $50,000. They'll retire millionaires.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think people stay in office way too long.
Sure.
You got senators and congressmen and women 30 years, 40 years.
Huge topic of debate is the term limits, right?
Like this lady looks like she's 80 years old. Like what's she still doing? Like pass that throne down to somebody else.
It's true.
Right.
It's
So
true.
it says the future of the program has emerged as a continuous issue between Republicans and Democrats after Biden accused GOP lawmakers of wanting to slash funding from Medicare and Social Security during the State of the Union address. It's just a lot of stuff. You can stop sharing the screen. It's just a lot of stuff that's going on, and we got to wake up and start paying attention to it. Even if you're young and you're watching this, you still got to pay attention to the future because you can see the further in the past you look, the further forward you can see.
Right.
And the Social Security just leads into, because we're obviously dealing with the retirees.
Sure.
I'm going to pull up another article. If you pull up the Milliman Medical Index. There we go. So what the Milliman Medical Index is it tells you this one right here. This is all the reports of cost of insurance, simulations on what's it costs for a family of 4, family of 5, such and such. But if we just look at this, the annual healthcare cost in 2020 for a family of 4 was $25,000.
Right.
In 2021 was $28,000. In 2022 was $30,000. Right. In 2023 is going to be right at $36,000. But if we look here, and this is just a family of 4 in 2022, total healthcare cost is $30,000. The average median salary in America is $65,000.
Right.
Right.
I heard it was actually under $60,000, like $58,000.
Well, that's the top 50%.
Okay, sure.
The bottom 50% is under $30,000. That's poverty, bro.
Yes.
Right. So if
their health bill is more than what they're even bringing in.
Correct. So if you look here, employee contribution out of pocket costs is $12,000.
Yeah.
So that's more than what? That's over a quarter of your annual salary is healthcare costs.
Yeah, right. How are people?
And it's only going to increase in the next 10 years. It's going to be increased by 30%.
But what's not increasing?
Their salary is not increasing.
Their salary's not increasing,
and that's a problem.
We have a chart that we show a lot of our clients from the 80s until now. The cost of living went up. The cost of raising a child went up. The cost of a car, automotive, the cost of owning a home went up. How much percentage?
300 to 400
percentage. But how much did the median
6%
salary, the median income?
6%.
6%.
And this is why you see the rise in GoFundMe accounts and barbecue chicken plate sales and people working 2 jobs and 3 jobs because they don't have enough money to actually get ahead. So
it breaks my heart.
There's 2 potential problems there. The amount of income that we're making and then the lack of financial literacy to actually Because
know
the
what
more
to do with that income.
correct, the more money you make doesn't mean the more money you're going to save.
No, it's most of the time it's the more money you spend.
Correct, because
Yeah.
they haven't been taught the financial discipline.
Mm.
So as their income increases, their lifestyle increases.
So it's funny you brought that up. I just met with a client before this podcast, and I'm not going to name any names, but it broke my heart. The story she was telling me, and she had to hold back her tears talking to me because she said, "I'm 50 years old. I make more money than I ever have my entire life, but I'm still living paycheck to paycheck. My husband works, I work. I'm afraid we're not going to have retirement, and I'm going to have to work for the rest of my life." So we talked about what does her financial home look like. We gave her the differences between what the wealthy do versus what the middle class and poor do. And I showed her what her foundation needs to be based upon and then to work her way up from there. By the end of our conversation, she was like, "I can't thank you enough. Let's set up a follow-up call." So we have a follow-up call for next week to get her started managing her funds a little better and to start putting away for a tax-free retirement.
So I'm going to pull up a whiteboard here. Let's go through that financial house real quick.
So guys, appreciate you guys following along with us. Hope this conversation is adding value to your day. Make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down below so we can get that conversation going, and we know what you want to hear about, what questions you have to ask, so that we can answer them on the next couple podcasts. But again, thanks for being with us. Make sure you click that subscribe button and click that thumbs up. Share this podcast with your social media platforms as well. Did we get that whiteboard pulled up?
Absolutely. There we go.
Awesome.
So check this out, guys. So this is what we call the financial house, guys. Because the wealthy are taught differently than the middle class are taught. Okay. And we can just do that based on the commercials we see during sports games.
Absolutely.
So in the chat, go ahead and type in, what are some different types of sports that the middle class America likes to watch? Go ahead and let me know. What are some sports middle class America likes to watch, Mark?
Football.
I grew up watching football and baseball and basketball.
Basketball.
That's it. So what types
Maybe
of commercials?
NASCAR. Maybe if you're in the South.
We used to NASCAR started at 1 o'clock. We take a nap till 3 o'clock and watch the last 60 races or last 60 laps.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So the types of commercials I grew up watching were what? McDonald's. I remember Super Bowl commercials. I couldn't wait to see the Budweiser commercial.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The Doritos commercials.
Seems like all the nasty.
All the
fast
nasty. They get you
food,
fat and
bad.
unhealthy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because there's more middle class than there are wealthy, right?
Think about that. Let's think about this for a second, guys. Listen to what he's saying. It's going to blow your mind and open your eyes.
It's all marketing and embedding. It's what I forgot what it's called. It's like if you see a number,
subconscious, subliminal
messaging. That's exactly.
Yeah.
So think about it. In the chat, name a sport that wealthy people watch. Name a sport that wealthy people watch.
Tennis,
golf,
polo,
water polo,
with the horses.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so what type of commercials do you think you see on those?
Zero.
Well, no, you see commercials.
Barely though.
Yeah, but the types of commercials are like Rolex.
Okay, yes.
Investment
I see
banking
what you're saying.
firms.
But they're not advertising as much.
Correct.
Yeah.
You're not seeing Doritos commercials and McDonald's commercials.
I get you. I'm following you.
So if they're watching, the wealthy have kids and they're watching those sports from a young age, their subliminal messaging is, you know, it's a little bit more higher level.
Got the Mercedes commercials,
Volvo,
Range Rovers. It's all of the mid to upper class type of luxuries that the middle class can't afford.
Correct.
Think about that.
So let's break this down. I'm going to be drawing with my finger, guys, so don't judge me about my handwriting, all right? So you have two types of... Hold on. Oh, when I hit it,
there should
draw.
Be, draw. Yeah, right
Bam.
there.
Okay. There we
Perfect.
go. So when I hit it, it kind of... There we go. You guys ready for this?
Let's do it.
Right? Hopefully you're taking notes. So check this out. This is going to be the wealthy class. This is going to be the middle class. So we're going to start with the middle class. How is the middle class? We're taught to go to school, get a job, open up a bank account. At that job, they say, hey, do you want to save for retirement? And we say, absolutely we do. So they open up this 401k for us, correct? They put our money in the stock market, right? So, and then once we get that good job, we go home and we say, baby, I got a good job now, right? Let's go and become homeowners, right? We want to buy our own place instead of renting. So we get started in the real estate game, right? I just want to let you know, as long as you own a home, you are not an homeowner. As long as you owe a mortgage, you are not a homeowner.
Correct. The
You
bank
miss two
owns,
payments.
bank owns that home.
The bank's going to come and get
Yep,
that home from
yep.
you. Even if you pay the house off, you miss your property taxes. The bank's going to come, or the state's going to come and get it. You miss your HOAs.
HOA is
Your
going to take your
homeowners,
home.
the HOA is going to take
Isn't
your
that
home.
crazy?
So you're really not a true homeowner. But if you notice, the middle class, they start with 2 expenses. Because you can't touch that 401k till you're 59 and a half years old without a 10% penalty. Expenses. I got to pronunciate my words, guys. Expenses. That's military, guys. Military, right? And then once they get the home, they're like, we need to save 3 to 6 months of emergency funds, right?
Sure.
And then once they're 40, 50 years old, they say, hey, we're about to get ready for death. Let's get us some life insurance.
Right. And it's the
Right?
most expensive at that point.
And it's the most expensive because now you're older. You probably got some pre-existing medical conditions, high blood pressure, diabetes,
Yep.
high cholesterol, maybe some heart problems, medication, stuff
Yep.
like that. Maybe in America, because we're the most medicated, maybe you have some anxiety and depression
Sure,
issues.
most likely.
And that's gonna cause
Mental health,
That's-
meds.
yeah, that's gonna cause a rise in cost
cost
of
of
insurance.
insurance go up. Yep.
But let's look at how the wealthy are doing this. So the wealthy, our clients, like what age do your client? So your affluent clients, what age do they come to you and say, Mark, my kid just turned this years old or days old?
50s, 40, 50s.
No. When the wealthy? I'm talking wealthy.
When do they get
When
their
do they-
kid? Oh, 14 days old.
14 days
14
old.
days old. Yeah.
So the wealthy come to us and they say, hey, we're gonna get life insurance on our kids.
Sure.
On our kids at 14 days
So
old.
you can get permanent life insurance on your child 14 days old. They have to be 14 days old. You can get them a policy, start stacking away cash value.
Correct, because they say life insurance is the foundation, the solid foundation on which their kids are going to build their assets upon.
And we're talking about the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Warren Buffetts of the world.
Correct. And then once they get this life insurance in place, then they're going to start saving emergency funds for them. So they're not 3 to 6 months; they're doing 9 to 12 months.
Got it.
Okay. So if you notice, they start their first two ventures are assets,
Got it.
while middle class is expenses.
Expenses. Wow.
And then once they do that, they
it's
go
the
and
complete opposite.
yeah. And then once they start their careers, they probably become a business owner and say, okay, let's get into the real estate industry.
Got it.
And then whatever money's left over, that's what they throw in the stock market.
Because that's the riskiest.
It's the riskiest.
Right.
It's the
Why does
riskiest.
middle class America start with the riskiest?
That's what we're taught.
Think about that. They make it so easy nowadays. 18 years old, get a Robinhood account, start throwing money in a variable
Correct.
product. As soon as you get a job, 18 years old,
That fast money is good.
they throw that 401k paperwork in front of you. They say, "Hey, would you like to save towards a retirement?" What are you going to say? No.
Yeah.
Most people are like, "Well, yeah, I think I need to save towards retirement," and boom, the money's going
Absolutely.
in a variable product.
That's it.
Risk.
Remember, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
But it's what you think you know that just ain't so that's going to hurt you.
Got you.
So we're taught this way, so people think they actually know the right way
Yeah.
when they don't.
You know, one of the biggest questions I get when I meet with clients is, why haven't I ever learned about this? And this is one of the reasons right here. You
Yep.
see this chart right here is because middle class is not taught these things in school.
That's it. Now let's start with just 2000, 2001, 2002. What happened? Stock market dropped 3 years in a row. We thought the world was going to end.
Yeah.
It was the dot-com bubble.
Yeah.
If you thought the world was going to end 2000, 2001, 2002, let me know in the chat.
Yeah.
It was they couldn't put an extra zero on the
Sure.
computer system,
Oh my
right?
God. My dad was buying 20-gallon freaking bottles to put water in. We had Clorox to put a
Yeah.
drop of Clorox so that you could preserve the water. However that works. I don't even know.
My dad built this
He was
whole
buying
shelter,
cans,
canned foods, everything.
rice.
Yep.
We literally thought the world was ending at, what was it, Y2K?
Y2K. Yep.
You guys remember Y2K? Give me a thumbs up in the chat or
It's the
something.
craziest thing.
Yeah, that was
And then
crazy.
2008 happened. The stock market dropped
Yeah.
58.6%.
We thought the world was ending again.
Correct. It was the Great Recession.
Yep.
And then
It's a sad day though. A lot of suicides.
10,000 suicides.
Business owners, entrepreneurs that lost money were just jumping
Everything
out
they
of
worked
windows.
for just taken from them.
Yep.
401ks were cut in half to 201ks. But even down the year 2020,
Yeah.
when pandemic, 57 million people filed for unemployment.
How much did the market drop during
It
2020?
did a flash crash, of 40% in 22 days.
40%.
And then it rebound 63%.
Sure.
So that was fabricated.
Sure.
Our clients didn't lose a penny.
No.
But in a 401k, they lost 40%, and then they had to play catch
Imagine
up.
the anxiety you would have went through seeing your money just go down.
It was cut in half.
40%.
You had $1 million, boom. You had what, 600,000.
Thank God it picked up. People recovered.
Correct. And then the market dropped 23% last year.
But see, that wasn't a market crash, guys. That's one thing you have to understand. That was an anomaly.
Correct.
That was something that was never, ever, ever should have happened. It was not predicted. Nobody even knew it was coming. That was like a black swan event, like an anomaly. It just happened because it happened, but they do not consider that as a market crash or a correction, which means we were still going up until just about 2 years ago.
Yeah. And then this, if you notice, so on this side of the house over here, the middle class, stock market crashes, their foundation is gone because all their money's in the stock market.
Yeah.
And then what's going to happen? They're going to exhaust this little bit of 3 to 6 months of savings.
Yeah.
And then what's going to happen? They're going to lose their house. Life insurance is going to be nowhere to be found. That's probably going to be the first to go because they're going to pay their Netflix subscription before they pay their life insurance policy.
Life insurance
That's an expense.
is an expense or a luxury,
but it's an asset.
And that's the first to go. But in reality, it's really an asset.
Correct. So this financial tornado crashes this house. But if you go to the wealthy side, stock market goes, bam, they're good. That was money they could risk losing.
Right.
That wasn't their life savings.
That was just above and beyond.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then if the shit hits the fan, now they got 9 to 12 months of savings for things to kind of correct itself and bounce back, and solutions to be put in order.
And let's just be honest. The last thing to go, if anything, is going to be life insurance. And as a matter of fact, that probably won't even go.
Correct. And unless an apocalypse happens.
Unless everybody just crashed and burned. But they will not let go of their life insurance because they know that's the fastest way to transfer wealth to the next generation.
Correct. So it's just building on the solid financial foundation, and that starts with life insurance.
So the most powerful thing that you can do for your family, guys, is to set up a life insurance policy for yourself. It's the selfless thing to do is to set up a life insurance policy for yourself so that you can transfer tax-free generational wealth to the next generation and set them up for success. It's just a no-brainer. I don't know why people struggle with this.
We weren't taught the value of life insurance.
No.
We can stop sharing that slide. We just weren't taught the value of life insurance.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the government's not incentivized for you to know the power of life insurance because think about this. You can't drive the car off the car lot without car insurance.
It's true.
You can't buy a home without homeowner's insurance.
You can't rent a house without renter's insurance.
Correct. And the craziest thing is that right there tells you that's not yours. The reason why you can't drive the car off the lot without car insurance is because that's not your asset. Yeah. That's the dealership's asset or the bank's asset. And if you crash your car, they want their asset covered.
Right.
Make sense?
Yeah.
The house, as long as you owe a mortgage, it's not your asset. It's the bank's asset or the lender's asset. You need insurance on that asset should you catch it on fire.
Right.
So they want to make sure they get their money back. Yourself is your asset.
Yeah.
The government's not incentivized for you to have insurance on you.
Sure. That's why they don't care.
But we get insurance on our phone,
right,
on our TVs, right? So it's just not out there. Yeah. So that's where we come in to fight this poverty war, to educate middle-class America on how money works and how money grows.
Big paradigm shift.
Teaching them the rules of the money game, Mark.
It's a paradigm shift, yeah.
So it's life insurance isn't about death. It's about living. I think we already know that. Yeah. But cool. Mailing man is we come across that. Do you remember that one agent that we had? He was 62 through 63 years old in Florida. He come to us. He was part of our team, and he said, Jesse, I was an engineer, and in 2020, when I got, he wasn't furloughed. He was non-essential, classified as non-essential. Right. And then the government opened up the 401ks to have access penalty-free.
He drained everything.
Yeah. He's 63 years old, engineer with no retirement.
No retirement.
He said, what do I do? He wasn't the only one. There's millions of people in that same boat where they have no retirement.
Currently, right now.
And they're looking for ways to make additional income. They're looking for ways to protect what little they do have left. Yeah. And they're looking for answers. Let us know if you would like a free wealth workshop on how money works and how money grows so you can start taking back control. Let us know in the chat. And I think we might be able to
Yeah.
throw a free wealth
Yeah,
workshop together
absolutely.
for people.
And depending on where you are in the United States,
Correct.
if you can guarantee people in a room, we might even consider coming out doing a free wealth workshop.
Yeah, let's go do a tour, man.
Yeah, let's do a
Let's
freaking
go
tour.
do a
man.
tour, city to city.
Didn't PBD did a tour
Did a
with
jet
a big
tour, yeah.
big jet, right? We'll
Yeah.
do a bus tour.
Oh, he did a bus tour too.
He did a bus tour,
Yep.
right? I remember his big face.
When
on
I was
it.
first getting started in the financial industry, he was doing a bus tour.
We'd have to get 2 big RVs with our families, right? 7 kids in one, 7 kids in another, and just tour the freaking United States.
That's it, man.
Just educating people.
I want to see people win. I want to teach people
That'd be
the rules of the money game. I want people to take back ownership
I'd do
of
it.
their hard-earned money.
Yeah.
But cool.
Yeah.
So let's end with I want to react to something.
Do a little reaction.
Our coach Patrick Bet-David, he yells from the top of the mountain, "Cash is king."
Yes.
Some other people say cash is king.
His good friend Robert Kiyosaki.
His good friend says cash is trash. So I want to, and Ray Dalio used to say cash is trash, but now he's singing a different song.
Sure.
So let's see if we can play this video and get some sound up. And I just want to hit some of these points on this. I want to get your feedback and some of your thoughts on this.
So just pay attention to the video. If you're watching live, you may not be able to hear it, but check out our podcast, which is going to be on Spotify and YouTube in the next 24 hours.
Ray Dalio, the founder of Bridgewater and Associates, who's worth $19 billion, who has built one of the most powerful companies in America, a book he's written that every executive CEO must read, Principles, changed his position on cash recently. But I first want to read to you what he said in 2020 about cash. On January 21st, 2020, he said, "Cash is trash. Get out of cash. There's still a lot of money in cash." However, just recently, he changed his position and said the following. He no longer thinks cash is trash. He thinks that the short-term interest rate is now about right, meaning it's a good time to have cash. So now, if you're listening to this saying, wait a minute, how do you change your position from cash being trash to cash not being trash? And Buffett, when he had $128 billion in cash, everybody was saying, well, he's not doing the right thing. And just recently, Q2, Buffett was sitting on $105 billion of cash. How can Dalio say something like this? If you follow his content closely, he says the following in his book. Here's a tweet from him in 2019, August 31st of 2019. He says, "If you don't mind being wrong on the way to being right, you'll learn a lot and increase your effectiveness. But if you can't tolerate being wrong, you won't grow, you'll make yourself and everyone around you miserable. Here's one of the principles. Recognize that mistakes are a natural part of the evolutionary process." And here's a man who's worth $19 billion and says cash is no longer trash, right? So for you, if you listen to this, how do you process this? I follow what both of them says. I listen very closely to what Ray Dalio says, one of my favorite interviews I've done in the past. And I follow very closely what Buffett says because Buffett's the GOAT based on what a lot of his peers say. What he's done is unbelievable the last 60 years. He's somebody everybody follows, their competitors, his enemies, his peers, everyone follows. So how do you handle this? Both billionaires, whose advice should you take? Here's the reality of it. For me, I consume a lot of content. I consume a lot of books. I consume a lot of different philosophies.
Robert Kiyosaki says cash is trash. Ray Dalio says cash is king, and so does Warren Buffett, correct? So,
and Patrick Bet-David's guidance to us was accumulate as much cash as possible this year
in the next
in
12
to 18 months,
yeah.
Before it really hits the fan.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think cash allows you to have leverage.
Yeah. And I'll take the other side. All right, you take that side.
I think cash allows you to make smarter decisions. I think cash allows you to position yourself in down times. For example, I remember our other coach, Matt Sapala, told us a story about 2008 where he had about $100,000 in cash, but one of his friends went and bought a car. He bought the car, but when 2008 happened, he couldn't afford to pay the car anymore.
Right.
And he became desperate for money. So he walked up to him and said, "Insult me."
Huh.
So he gave him $60,000 for the car, went and flipped it for $100,000, made $40,000 quick, and he was able to do that because he had cash on hand.
Wow.
So it allows you to position yourself in down times. And I know if you have cash right now, these people who are desperate for money, who maybe lost their jobs, it allows you to position yourself in the real estate industry as well. because it's immediate. They don't have to wait on closing. The credit don't have to be good. Just, hey, you give me this, I'm going to give you this. You exchange.
So let me take the other side.
Sure.
Cash is going down because inflation is going up. So the value of our dollar is going down. Now, and they're saying if they take, let's just say Russia and China are partnering together, Brazil and China are partnering together. All these different places are coming against, and they're detaching the dollar. They're de-dollar. What do they call it? De-dollarizing it or whatever.
Sure.
They're taking their own form of currency away from the standard that they've had it on for years, which was the U.S. dollar. That decreases the value of the dollar even more. What happens when the dollar crashes? Now, I know that's not right this second.
Sure.
But let's say the dollar crashes and you're in a cash position and I'm in a gold, silver position, crypto position. What happens then?
Well, can I ask you a question?
Yeah. You're asking me a question for a question.
So what happens? We're saying you use the word if. What happens if it doesn't?
What happens
What
when?
happens if the stock market just bottoms out and everybody loses everything? Everybody has $0.
Yeah.
Right? There's too many people at the top that like their money. I don't believe it's ever going to go down to zero, because if you look at the exchange currencies or forex, foreign exchange market, the dollar's still pretty strong.
Yeah.
So it's just, we're going through a season right now. We're going through uncharted waters. That's my belief.
Yeah.
But let's say we go on the fear mongers that we have on here, because when I was part of the crypto community, it was like
dollar's going to go to
Fed
zero.
coin, all this crazy stuff. It was always talks to kind of scare people.
But now, like, do you believe that they're going to take the dollar down to nothing?
No, we're already digital. Do you have an ATM card? Does it have a chip
but do you
on
think
it?
that they're going to replace it with a Fed coin so that fiat is out of the picture and we're going to have to just go straight
If we
digital?
become a communist nation, yes.
Yeah.
That's communism.
What are the chances of that?
I don't think it's high.
Depends on who's voting, right?
I don't think it's high.
Yeah. You said in a couple episodes ago, you don't think it'll happen in our lifetime.
I don't think it'll happen in our lifetime. Think about this. And we're in the great state of Texas, where Texas, there's little talks about Texas breaking free. And yes, for everybody that says Texas cannot do that, Texas can become its own nation, guys.
Yeah.
It's the only state that still has that contract where they can terminate the contract of being part of the United States of America.
Sure.
And that means, guess what? The government doesn't have to fund them anymore. We're self-sufficient, guys.
Right.
The great state of Texas is self-sufficient. But let me tell you something. You have millions upon millions of people in this country that raised their right hand and said, "I swear to protect the Constitution of the United States of America against enemies, foreign and domestic."
Yeah.
Why do you think the Democrats are trying to get rid of the amendment, the right to bear arms?
Yeah.
They're trying to. It's like, think about what happened in Venezuela. Venezuela used to be a thriving country. It used to be the vacation destination.
Right.
But now you go to Venezuela, you got billions of dollars just on the road because they're worth nothing. First thing they did was de-arm their citizens. Once you de-arm the citizens, now the citizens can't fight back. Government comes in and takes full control.
Mm-hmm.
Now they got soldiers in their trucks guarding the streets, right? Riding in their Humvees down the streets. If America's not careful, that's the direction we're going. If you keep voting the same way,
Sure,
that's not getting positive results.
and I think that's the direction that I'm questioning is if we keep voting the same way, if we keep going the direction we're going right now, will we become a communist socialist nation? Will we become like Venezuela? Will the dollar crash? Will we have to impose the Fed coin? And then what happens to all the people in cash positions?
Well, I'm just going to tell you, I believe in people, guys. I believe that the people in America want to win, want to succeed in life. I believe that in their hearts, they know what's right. And I hope they not become woke, but waked up.
Got
right?
it.
I'm gonna do my own beep.
Got it.
Wake up.
Yeah.
And start taking ownership of our country. It's not. Well, they don't do this. They don't do that. No. What are you doing?
Yeah.
To provide value to this country?
Right.
What are you doing to change your life? Don't wait on a handout or a hand up. What are you doing to take ownership? And I honestly feel that if more people took a role and responsibility to give value to this earth, to those around them, I believe everybody pouring into one person, coming together, because think about this. We were not more united as we were on September 11th.
Got it.
September 11th, we came together as a nation, and it was a beautiful thing. But our government uses distraction techniques. It's an old war strategy. You can read the book 33 Strategies of War, the distraction technique. Look over here while we do this over here.
Right.
And the news is governed by, 90% of news sources are Democratic news sources. They're showing one side. Fox News is showing one side, and then you have the truth. Nobody ever sees the truth.
Yeah.
But what happens, the first thing that they see, that's what they believe. And they don't even have the whole story.
Mm.
So if we could cut off these freaking news channels and we could start getting down to the truth, okay, I got this information, I got that information. Now I'm going to formulate my own thoughts and opinions, not somebody else's thoughts and opinions that were forced upon me. And then we can do good coming together. And a unified nation, our government wouldn't be playing like this.
Mm.
These other countries, they were scared to do business with us when Trump was in business or in office. He says, what would you do if this happened? I drop a bomb on him. Boom, dropped a bomb on him. Mm. He said what he was going to do, and he did it. They were playing with him. They were testing him, and he came through.
Right.
He was the only person to go into North Korea to create peace with them, to go to Russia, peace with Russia. What's happening now? Now the United States of America, they're laughing at us.
Yeah.
And for me, many of you watching who are veterans, many of you watching who maybe didn't serve, but maybe you were a spouse or a family member of a veteran, or maybe you had somebody in your family lineage serve. They didn't give their time, their energy, their efforts, their life just to be laughed at, just for a weaker generation to come along and start making excuses for things. So we got to come together, Mark.
Yeah.
Or else what you just said will happen.
I think the next 24 months are going to be huge.
It's going to be critical to what happens in the next 24 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know you and I are committed to doing our part by giving the information out there.
Yep.
By raising our kids properly with characters, with values, with principles, and raising them with the foundations of Christ in our house and our business. And we're going to raise up leaders.
And raising up a team of leaders as well.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because that's what this nation needs is leaders.
Yeah.
Not managers, not followers, but we need some strong leaders.
Strong leaders.
That can go out there.
Yeah.
And I just encourage each and every one of you to raise up leaders. If you're a man, be a man, right? Don't be questioning yourself. Either you got one or you don't got one. Does that make sense, guys?
Makes sense.
And that's a whole different episode.
Preach it.
So, but with that being said, guys, it's time to take back control. Yeah. It's meaning control of your life, control of your destiny. Don't let your current circumstances change your responsibilities in life.
Yeah.
We're all going through something, guys. Something negative is happening to us all, but don't let it change your responsibility, my friends. Yeah. So,
in that vein, I think our next couple podcasts, we should really hit on maybe a mini series on how to be a man, how to be a leader.
Yeah.
Even women can take some principles from that. How to be a fighting force in your community, how to be the voice of your community. I think that'll be a lot of good value for our listeners and our watchers. What do you think about that?
Absolutely.
I think that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Are you guys ready?
So we'll keep you privy to some of the news and the latest breaking stuff that's going on in our economy. Obviously, our podcasts are kind of like split in the middle. We do a little bit of news and a little bit of value at the end, but I think we can continue down that path and we can give extra value in the next couple podcasts and really give you some principles, some leadership principles on how to level up in your faith, your family, your finances, fitness, and maybe even bring some guest speakers in.
Absolutely.
So what do you think about that?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I'm ready for it. With that being said, that's a wrap for episode 12 of the Legacy Syndicate podcast. Mark, it was a pleasure, brother, man.
Appreciate you, man.
It's an honor to be in business with you. It's an honor to be a brother in Christ with you as well. We're going to do some big things, and we're going to go out there and help change this world.
Yeah. Shout out to
Yeah.
all our followers and people who have subscribed and shared this podcast.
Yes.
We appreciate you guys. Until the next one, we'll see you in the next episode.